Hello and welcome to coverage of Grand Prix Madison. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Randy Bueller, and we're just about underway here in round number 4. Now this is where the big-time pros and the Hall of Famers come off of their buys here, Randy, and we've got a blockbuster matchup. We've got Patrick Chapen versus Brad Nelson.
Not bad.
Pretty good way to start the tournament off. A snappy Gnarlid here for Patrick indicates that he might be on a more aggressive-themed deck here.
Indeed. Yeah, he's Naya. He's kind of aggressive. A pair of Grove Rumblers adding to this landfall.
Is that a retreat to Kazandu I see there for Nelson?
I believe so. I'm not sure. Brad did not seem happy about his deck on Twitter. If you follow him on Twitter,
I do.
He was,
of course,
a little colorful.
Oh, he was.
I more meant the metaphorical you out there listening.
All right, good.
A lot of these guys are particularly fun to follow during big events because they'll just kind of talk about what's going on. He described his deck as mono commons control.
Oh, no. That doesn't sound like a good deck.
He did not intend it as a compliment.
I like the name of it, though. All right, follow-up play for Chapin is a little bit unorthodox. He's got a Kozilek Sentinel next to a Snappy Gnarlid. Not two cards that you see next to each other too much. And then he's got the Half-Truth is what I call that card. But it looks like he's going to use it well. He's going to attack here and maybe even get some counters going. On his Rot Shambler. And he comes to the red zone. Knocking Brad Nelson down a couple of pegs here, but now Brad gets to untap with that retreat in hand. He can use that to put a +1/+1 counter on a creature with landfall, or you can gain 2 life. That's an Akum Stonewaker for Chapin now, setting up, and holy crap, Brad Nelson just conceded.
Yeah, I don't think our life total was right. I think Pat had gotten in 3 points on the previous turn that wasn't reflected there, and yeah, he's got 4 creatures.
Yeah,
Pat's got an enchantment that has no impact on the board.
Right. Wow, rough draw there for Brad Nelson. Leads to an early Game 1 concession, and Game 1 goes to Patrick Chapin.
It's not like Chapin's deck looked amazing.
No. By no stretch did it look amazing. Now, next turn could have been good. The Akum Stonewalker is the one where landfall, you can make a 3/1 with haste.
How good do you think that guy is?
Medium.
Medium?
I'm not that high on it. I've heard a few people
like when it
kind
works,
of tout
it's like, what? That seems totally unfair.
Yeah.
But like, how often does it actually work out that you have the land and you have nothing else to do with your mana?
And where that's good.
Right.
I'm not high on it. Also, I've noticed that there's quite a few 4 toughness creatures floating around the format, or 4 toughness or more. Even at common, you'll see them. In fact, Patrick had one on his side of the table that game as well. All right, let's jump over to our side match here, where we've got Ben Stark, and that's Ben Rasmussen on the right, who he's facing off against here. Now, what are we seeing on this board state here? Yeah, something just died. Trying to kind of make out what's going on. Oh, it's a Stone Fury there to take out the Colostria Night Watch. All right, so that's going to clear the way of a 4/5 blocker here, and it's going to let Ben Rasmussen rumble here with his, looks like his Kozilek's Channeler and the Sludge Crawler are both getting in.
And Sludge Crawler threatening to go to 2/2.
Yeah, so it can either trade for the 3/2 there, or it can eat up a token. And it looks like Ben's decided.
Yeah, he just took the damage.
To take it all. And Ben, sorry, I shouldn't say Ben. Ben Stark has decided to take a Ben Rasmussen on the other side of the table. Did use up that mana. But Ben Stark looks like he's fine with entering the fray here on the race, as he's going to crunch in there for 5 damage now. Ooh, and he's going to play a 7-drop this turn too.
Ruin Processor.
Ruin Processor, go.
Yeah. He had not ingested anything, right?
Nope.
So, no life, but a big body.
That thing's huge. I mean, it's a 7-8. Like, it's going to be pretty tough for Ben Rasmussen to fight through this, especially considering that it looks like Ben was kind of Rasmussen was taking the race to Stark, but it looks like Stark's the one who's ahead of the race. Yeah. And that's an Ulamog's Despoiler. That's going to get 4 counters. Now, this isn't one of the fancy Eldrazi, but
looks pretty fancy here.
I was just saying that the Ruin Processor is huge at 7-8.
Yeah, raise.
It does seem to have
How about 9/9?
Shriveled a bit. This is where Ben Stark wants to play a card like Clutch of Currents. So just send that thing back, get in some more attacks. It looks like he's going to make him discard here, though.
And awakens one of his lands.
And it was just a swamp that Rasmussen had left. Oh, Mortuary Mire. What is he going to get back? I think that was maybe the Claustria Night Watch.
Yeah,
is that what you saw? All right.
That's what I saw.
I mean, I think, Ben Stark just says, all right, well, look, if I can draw a 5-drop next turn, I would prefer that. It's getting into the late stages of the game. One thing we have to keep our eye on here as well, Randy, I don't know if it matters at the moment, but there is a Blighted Fen on Ben Rasmussen's side of the board there.
Sure.
And, that's the kind of thing that if you're in Ben Stark's seat, you're going to be keenly aware of, to not let yourself get down to, say, just the Ruin Processor or something along those lines. But yeah, 9/9 looks, you said it looks pretty fancy here. No evasion, nothing like that, but it's got keyword big. And
bigger.
Yeah, bigger.
Ruin Processor was he was the big man for about half a turn. The thing is, though, Ben Stark's been able to leave enough blockers where he's threatening a double block, and so Rasmussen doesn't really want to attack into a double block. And now Ben has maneuvered things where he's able to chip away with a flyer. Hello!
Look what he's got here.
Target creature cannot be blocked this turn.
Coralhelm Guide is going to actually get him in for, I was going to say lethal, but oh, wow, what a top deck for Ben Rasmussen. Oh, he can destroy
a creature and a land?
Yeah, but he can take out the land that's a creature.
Why did he not? He missed it. He color screwed him instead of killing the awakened creature.
Wow, he must just be...
I think he missed it. That was the wrong land. I mean, because it's up there with the creatures, right? It doesn't look like a land now.
Yeah.
It's a creature. Still a land.
But that's like the best case scenario for that card, is getting a chance to effectively kill 2 creatures at instant speed.
Yeah, this is a super interesting game.
Yeah, I think, our other game has started, Randy.
Yeah, okay.
We'll do a little picture-in-picture, because I want to keep an eye on this Ben Stark versus Ben Rasmussen, because Ben just drew something great.
Wow.
Use the Invoker there.
Aha, 8 mana.
To fire off a bunch of damage,
No more unblockability for you, sir.
And there's that Claustria Night Watch back again for Ben Stark. So, yeah, this has been a really seesaw battle here for both of these players, as Rasmussen has fallen down to 3, but seems to have control of the board here against Ben Stark. And he's even got a 9/9.
Good old Windrake.
Invoker.
Feral Shadow is going to win this game. 2/1 flying for 3.
That could be the case.
Ben Stark has just maneuvered things where chipping away with a flyer might actually be good enough.
Yeah, it's going to get zapped out of the sky here from the Invoker,
Almost.
though.
Down to 3.
Yeah, he's down to 3, and it's going to be tough to close out from here for Ben Stark. I mean, how is he going to get these last 3 points of damage in now that this Invoker has started to dominate the board? I mean, the thing has killed 2 creatures, yeah. And it can go to players, too. Rasmussen, after he clears out all the creatures he wants, which, by the way, he is clearing out plenty of them here. And he's going to draw 2, discard 2 as Ben Stark, which is not great. Now, I wonder if this is what Rasmussen was going for when he did not destroy the land, is that he said, okay, well, I'm going to set up this Invoker that can kill that later. It's a little greedy in that moment, but it actually has...
your opponent a 3/3 so you can try to color screw him?
Yeah, but now he looks like he may have turned the corner here.
It's true. It's true. The 3/3 is not particularly good on this board. And now it's just gone.
Wow, that Invoker has been a wrecking ball here for Rasmussen. And I think what Ben's trying to do is find a way to gain some life here. because in one more turn, Rasmussen's going to be able to kill the Merc Strider, and then he can Blighted Fen away the 4/5 as well.
I mean, this is all great for Ben Rasmussen, but this game basically came down to Stark clears his hand. Discard all your cards. I'm awakening my land.
Rip.
Attack you for lethal. Oh, the look, Scour from Existence is the one top deck after Stark cleared his hand. That's a 4/4 flyer.
Yeah, that's the Angel, and that's going to get him 3 life as well.
Can he?
That's a must deal with. He's got to deal with that or both of the other creatures to be able to use his Blighted Fen, and he's got to do it quickly. Stone Fury. Wow. Man, Ben Rasmussen has just had the answers. He ripped that Grip of Desolation. Now the Stone Fury is going to go to work here. He's going to force Ben Stark to chump block here, which is why he didn't kill the Angel. Here comes the Blighted Fen. Target you. And Ben's taking lethal. All right, so that is going to do it for game 1 there. Ben Rasmussen picks it up. You said it, though. I mean, top deck really nicely there for Rasmussen to get himself out of a mess. That it looked like Ben Stark was in the commanding seat. Now, look, we're going to join kind of in the middle of the game. You may have been keeping your eye on it down in our picture-in-picture with these two gentlemen, but we'll kind of jump in and see what's going on here. So a pair of Benthic Infiltrators this time for Chapin, who, did he sideboard into a different deck here?
Yes.
Or is he missing a color?
Chapin's original deck was Naya.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
This is the other deck.
Interesting. So he's throwing a completely different look here at Brad Nelson. I remember in sealed deck, you do submit a deck on your deck registration sheet, and you must start each match with that. But beyond that, you can, for game 2, you could sideboard into not only a few different colors, but an entirely different deck if you want. And it looks like he's done that. All right, some big plays here for Chapin as he's looking to stabilize. It looks like Brad's got a pretty aggressive board state going on here.
Yeah, I mean, the Infiltrators, they're normally attacking and ingesting, but 1/4 is kind of a defensive wall.
Yeah, but it did buy him enough time to set up this Deathless Behemoth. That's one of my favorite not rare Eldrazi's. Might be the best one. It's a 6/6 Vigilance for 6 mana, and it even has the ability to come back to your hand if you sacrifice 2 Eldrazi Scions to do that. But the thing I like about it most is just it's efficient. 6 mana, 6/6 Vigilance affects the board in a pretty major way. So far, it looks like it's holding back Brad Nelson's forces here pretty effectively. All right, there's Myers Malice to take 2 cards out of the hand for Brad. And, I had a prediction before the tournament started that we'd be seeing a fair bit of Myers Malice. And we're 2 for 2 so far. So looks like that card might be real for sealed.
Yeah, we've seen both the Hall of Famers, Ben Stark and Patrick Chapin, have played that card here in the first round of the tournament.
Yeah. I think most of the pros are less excited about it for draft. But
yeah, sealed deck, you're going to have time.
Yep. Looks like it did pretty good work for Chapin here. It got a Grip, Demon's Grasp, and a Mountain.
The Infiltrator, but not the 6/6?
I think he did attack with the 6/6. Let's see.
I mean, it does have Vigilance, but...
No, looks like he didn't. Well, he doesn't want to offer up a 1-for-1 trade, even though it could take down the Shatterskull Recruit or the Vestige of Emrakul, whatever. Brad decided to block it. Yeah, he decided not to risk it. No Eldrazi Scions right now for Chapin, so he's not going to get back that Deathless Behemoth, at least not at the moment. Take a look at our two players here. Patrick Chapin rocking the beard. I like it. Got the mountain man thing going. Brad Nelson's had a beard. I don't think I've ever seen him without one. Is that a grave birthing there? All right. Oh, there's one Scion.
Yeah.
I believe that was a clutch of currents that Chapin just drew.
That's interesting.
Could even cast it. All right, instead he's just going to keep chipping away with these benthic infiltrators. He's doing some work on Brad Nelson's library there. A good chunk of it's exiled. And a Mist Intruder, I think, is the follow-up here for Chapin, yeah. Looks like he's just going to be attacking with one-powered creatures for the foreseeable future. Still just continuing to chip away. Now 3 at a time. And these are all ingest creatures, by the way, so they're going to exile the top card of his library whenever they hit. Looks like he's got an Oracle here now.
Nice.
I mean, that thing is going to do a lot of work here, Randy.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know?
a lot of things have to sort of set up right for that card to actually turn into value, but here we have a relatively stalled board. Patrick's got 7 mana. He's got the infiltrators. So yeah, value.
Yeah, and here he goes. Draw a card, discard a card. And as we know, in the late stages of the game, when from this point on, really all Patrick Chapin wants to see are spells come off the top of his deck. Here's Titan's Presence, revealing a Forerunner of Slaughter. And combined with the block, that's going to take out Oracle of Dust.
And we got to enjoy it once.
Yeah.
Still. What is he processing for?
Don't know. Can't quite see on the bottom there. He's kind of ran out of room there on that bottom card. I can't quite make out what he's got. He's going to sack the Eldrazi spawn here. And I think he's going to play the Clutch Occurrence to get that Vestige of Emrakul out of the way. And he's going to put all the counters on that other swamp, making it into a 6/6. And there's a response here, though, because I think Brad has another Titan's Presence. Yeah, he does. He's going to reveal the Forerunner once again. Oh, that was nasty. You see what he did? He killed the land that the extra counters were going to go on, and so he you know, I wouldn't call it a full 2-for-1, but somewhere in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that was a nice play there for Brad Nelson.
It can be risky to pile up all of those awakened counters on the same land.
Yeah, I've only done that once. I prefer to diversify the threats more, but I did at one point have 9 counters on a land, and it felt very risky. It got there. I mean, it does ask a pretty pertinent question of your opponent. Can you kill this? No. GG. But if they do, yeah, you're set back a lot, and we see that from Chapen here. That was a pretty big setback for him. Now, as it sits, though, Brad is still scrambling to try to stabilize, and now he's going to replay his Shatter School recruit, and he gets a 4-1 slaughter down, too.
If his Twitter is to be believed, Brad has the removal spells to make the game go long, but not the bombs that you would want to draw into. Yeah, these evasion creatures are going to get there.
Looks like Patrick's just jammed with the team here. And Brad's just going to have to take the double block to get rid of the Deathless Behemoth. And that's a tough one for Brad because both of his creatures are going to die here. God, and yeah, his library is actually getting...
Yeah, but his life totals, too. Like,
yeah, he's
the ingest creatures... The game's not going to go... doesn't usually go 15, 17 turns. Usually you run out of life points before you run out of library.
That's true. And I think that is the case here as well.
20 cards doesn't kill him.
Right.
I know emotionally it can feel like, oh, all these awesome cards are leaving my library, but it doesn't actually really affect the game.
Not at all.
Unless you get decked, which doesn't really happen. Now, the first cards that get ingested, I think, are, like, if you can stop your opponent from ingesting the first time, well, now you're turning off their processors. But once they've got, you know, a supply of food for the Eldrazi processors, the rest of this milling doesn't really matter.
Spell, though, off the top this time for Nelson, and that's going to draw him right into the land.
That's just random.
It is just random, but it can't make him too happy here. Yeah, and that's going to do it. Patrick Chapin picks up his match, and there was 3 cards left in his library. He went through a lot of cards.
He looked at the top one, then he looked at the last 3.
Okay.
But 2 points of life left.
Yeah.
I stand by my claim.
No, you're right. I wasn't arguing. And that'll do it, though. Patrick Chapin picks up his match 2-0 over Brad Nelson.
Both of Patrick's decks go 1-0.
Mm-hmm. And I see that our other match seems to be walking away as well. So let's see if maybe we'll get an update on that.
Rasmuson got the next one as well?
It does seem to be the case.
Were we there long enough for 2 games?
All right, so we're going to jump actually over to our turbo match here.
Did we get an update on Ben Stark?
I'm asking. Yeah, okay. We'll figure it out. We're just going to get the turbo match instead. All right, it looks like Rasmussen did win 2-0. And that, in fact, is our third match.
Jeffrey Warren and Corey Baumeister?
Yep. But we're going to be watching the turbo match in just a minute here once we get that set up. Make sure you join us next weekend. That's the 16th through the 18th, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, for Pro Tour Battle for Zendikar. We're going to be drafting.
We're going to be seeing the new standard.
And we're going to be playing standard.
It's like Christmas morning.
Oh, it's going to be
format rotation, first Pro Tour after format rotation is always awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, Friday morning, it's just electric in the room.
Nobody knows what anybody else is doing yet. They're all wondering if they came to the right conclusions.
Yeah, they're willing to put them into put those tests into action.
No choice. Got to.
All right, let's join our turbo match where we've got Andrew Lozano versus Michael Majors. Michael, of course, he's the guy that won the GP with Cunio's list with the blue-red mill deck in last standard.
Sphinx's tutelage.
Tutelage. Pretty great stuff. He's got a core castigator to kick things off here, but a 2-drop from the other side in form of Snappy Gnarlid means that
declines to trade.
Oh, no trade. Wow. Andrew Lozano wanted to get aggressive here, it looks like. And meanwhile, here comes 5 damage.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
He had nothing to do with 4 mana? He didn't trade with a 3/1 and had nothing to do with 4 mana?
Well, I guess he just really didn't want to waste that landfall trigger, but now he's taking a bunch of extra damage as a result.
6 damage ago.
Replacement castigator, and he also, from his retreat to Emeria, he picks up a land. Yeah, but complete disregard's going to take the blocker out of the way. And that was game.
Smash!
Yeah, I mean, that looked like a misstep early from Andrew Lozano, who thought, well, maybe we can race here if I keep hitting my lands or whatever. He ended up not hitting his lands and falling behind in the race almost immediately. Was never able to recover.
Yeah, he looked like a guy who might have had a handful of 5s or 6s because he stopped at 4 land.
Yeah, but wouldn't you just want to block?
Well, yeah, but I mean,
you know
in
what
addition
I'm saying?
to that, he should have been up to 6
5s.
life from blocking. Yeah. But then...
Well, he only lost 3 life from it, right?
No, he took it twice.
He blocked the next time.
He blocked the 3rd time.
I don't think that's
right.
He
swung once. He declined to block.
Okay.
Then he attacked.
Okay, so that's 6, sure.
Then he said, maybe I should stay back on defense and block.
Well, it cost him.
Yeah.
And we're going to jump forward to game 2 here to see if things work out a little bit better for Andrew Lozano versus Michael Majors. And it looks like he's got kind of a green-red aggressive deck going.
Oh.
And this one, that's good. 3/3 for 3 in this case. Send it in, he says. And he's got the...
oh, is that the ally?
Yeah, the Tujuru guy. Mm-hmm. It's a Tujuru Stalwart is what that card is. So it's got a couple of counters on it. And crunching in there for 5. Michael's done a good job of sort of building up his board here.
Yeah, he didn't want to double block, but he's willing to triple block.
Yeah, he just trades 1 for 1 there.
Yeah, well, he was worried about what tricks Andrew might have.
Yeah.
Like he could have double blocked to try to kill it on the previous turn, but didn't want to risk getting blown out. So it worked out very well for Michael.
And there's that complete disregard there for Andrew Lozano.
So he did have a trick that could have punished a double block.
Absolutely.
Could not punish a triple. Michael Majors guy can play.
No, he could definitely play. So some nice sequencing there from Mike Majors. He plays a land to trigger his Bailoff, gets it up to 6/6, attack with both. After it gets through for damage, he uses unnatural aggression to fight.
It's interesting how the fight cards in recent sets have come with plus power, plus toughness.
Oh man, there's that Grip of Desolation again.
It's a good card.
Yeah, that card's legit.
This set, the fight card doesn't give you any power toughness boost, so it winds up happening after combat instead of before. Like your guy taking damage and then giving them the ability to block, right?
Yeah, you don't like that. And sometimes it means that you don't get to attack at all. What we gained out of it was instant speed, but I think the determination so far has kind of been that it being instant speed doesn't really make up for the fact that it doesn't add power or toughness the turn that you do it, or that it's cheap. Majors is going to crunch in there with his Core Castigator and the 4/4 there. Kozilek's Channeler. Are these getting in? No, one of them's going to get blocked. In fact, they're both going to get blocked. One of them's a chump, it looks like, and the other one was a trade. It's got to be good news for Michael Majors. He's got a bunch of cards to work with here, too.
Yeah, well, he stopped at 5 land. Lozano went all the way to 8.
All right, Eyeless Watchers, the follow-up play, and that was it. It looks like that 4/4 Kozilek's Channeler was just bigger than anything that Andrew Lozano was doing, and he just kind of ran him over with it.
True story.
Yeah, it looks like, and unfortunately, so we were actually hoping to pop in on this one live as it was just winding down, but it had finished.
Just ended.
Yeah, it just ended.
Looks like Gregory Orange got the 2-0 over Corey Baumeister.
You mean the Citrus Assassin?
I do mean the Citrus Assassin.
Yeah.
He'll be in Milwaukee next weekend.
You know, his friends named him that. All right, so that's going to do it for round 4 here from GP Madison.